Welcome back, my kindred, to Canada by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade live play podcast. Before the coterie met with the clan leaders, Evangeline devised a strategy for the meeting, and Val and Michael Arden had a heated discussion about clan politics. Everett received a call from the prince, who informed him that he would be celebrated with a parade the following day, and Everett suggested a logistical change to make it easier to assassinate the prince amidst the festivities. But with Val having just lost control and punched a fellow Brujah, how will her sudden violence impact the mutinous negotiations? Find out now as you return to the world of darkness.
Val, you turn around to punch Brian Tombstone in the chest, having set down the case of cell phones with nearly all the bodyguards and the majority of the clan leaders able to see.
Yeah.
Let's roll that punch.
Cool.
If you could roll me a strength and brawl.
Val is in a weird, angry place. I feel like even though it's incredibly not smart, I want to rouse for prowess and add it to my...
I'm not going to stop you.
I pass. Oh, thank God. Okay, so now I add extra. It's basically like I want to hit this guy and then this be over. So I'm just, it's like everything inside of her body, just putting it in to her fist and putting that fist in this man's chest.
Okay.
Oh my God, no. So there's strength.
Val Miller.
There's brawl. There's.
You can't get mad, you know.
And then this is the extra
Val's
press.
gonna Val.
Val's gonna Val.
Okay. This is the dice pool.
Oh.
What does prowess do
Beautiful.
mechanically again, just so we all remember?
Yes. So prowess adds your potence level to strength checks.
Cool.
Okay.
I'm seeing some die results north of 5.
Yep. Okay. So I rolled 7. There's 2 10s, one's on a hunger dice, so 9 successes, messy successy.
9 successes plus a messy successy. Okay. So he also rolled 7 successes.
Whoa.
Wow.
So you beat him by 2,
Yep.
and it was a messy successy. So I am going to say that you beat him by 2 aggravated instead of 2 superficial.
Damn.
Because your silver rings are still
Oh, that's true.
are still present,
Yes.
and not always thought of in
That
the way
is
that they
very
would
true.
otherwise be. So before you could stop yourself, just in the moment of summoning the prowess, you lash out and deal him 2 points of aggravated damage, knocking him backwards and into Michael Arden, who was walking through the front door.
Not again.
I was expecting the worst, and I was not expecting that. But that is worse than I could have
But
thought.
no one's holding Michael Arden's head, right?
No one is holding Michael Arden's head, but Michael
Just the
Arden...
joke Dell needs to hear right now.
Sorry,
Thank you so much, Laura.
And I think
Sorry.
to paint the full picture, he takes the punch. He was about to lash out. It buckles his torso. He staggers back into Michael Arden, bumps, innately spins, and takes a swing at Michael Arden, who grabs his fist and then casts a spell.
Damn.
Just-
Michael Arden's got hands.
Out of well, this is not a good thrown punch on the scale of things. It is going to be...
You're doing great, Del.
Thank you. I'm not well.
I gotta just roll some stats here. Versus... That was Michael Arden's roll.
Oh, these
versus
are
our-
2 NPCs. I
dear
thought Michael
friends.
Arden was a fucking god.
No, that was Michael Arden. He's very good at what he does. So Michael Arden gets
He's
that.
a clan leader after all.
He is.
It's all
He ran
very
that chant
official.
near Cincinnati.
Yes, he did.
That's right.
Good old endless watchtower.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Brian, your life is about to go real fast and then take a left.
Michael Arden lashes out, seeing the panic in your eyes, Val, and seeing the damage that has been done that cannot be disguised from a member of the department attacking a Brujah. And you watch him, even as he does this, there's this brief moment of connection between the two of you where he almost gives you a nod, and then he casts his magic into the body of Brian Tombstone. And you watch Brian Tombstone's blood vessels behind his eyes and in his face and through his body all burst as he suffers 4 more points of aggravated damage as the blood boils inside of him, and he pops inside his skin and dies.
Val acknowledges that like little nod. She gives a little nod back. It's like, this is going to be a political shit show.
And Michael Arden just strides forwards, covered in blood, yelling, "I am the clan leader of the Tremere. I will be attacked by no bodyguard of another faction. Madre, you will answer for this crime against me." He's striding into the room. Val, you know Michael Arden has now covered up a crime you've committed by committing a different crime.
Yes.
What do you do?
As Laura turns the page on the notes she'd made about her speech to the clan leaders.
I'll go back and pick up that box of cell phones.
Okay, then you're still out there. So he's got to face off with a furious Madre who stands up and just goes, "What the fuck do you think you're doing? I am here as the leader of the Tremere, and I was assaulted by your bodyguard at the front of this building. And that means you just get to fucking kill him? Okay, I want him fucking dead. That's what I want. You, Sheriff, fuck him. He dies."
Arden, sit down.
"I will do it begrudgingly," he says, hurrying over to a seat and sitting down.
This was a meeting called by the sheriff's department, and everyone who attended was under the sheriff department's protection.
Val, you've picked up the box of cell phones. Is there
Yeah.
anything you want to do in regards to this, or are you just closing the door and staying outside?
Val's gonna just close the door. Stay outside.
Madre, that means your beef is with me, and we can sort this out and find a solution after the meeting. Fair?
I'm going to be happy with this solution.
That's what I want.
Okay.
Can we start the meeting peacefully? He's saying to everyone.
You just see a selection of people turn to face you.
Great. Officer Clark, I believe you had some... He looks to say opening remarks. But just a quick
internal.
visual,
That sound did not come out. That
a
was
visual check-in
That's
of like,
Evangeline internal.
is
like,
Evangeline
oh, fuck.
is Evangeline with us, or is she spiraling?
No, she's present.
Good enough. And he finishes his sentence. Opening remarks. You have the floor, and Everett will sit down. He already fucked up not standing up. Stood up to yell at Michael Arden.
Well, he might have needed to pull some focus. It might have been a good move.
All right. So Evangeline is standing beside Everett. Can I assume? Mm-hmm. We hadn't really talked about
there's the platform with
platform.
the chair for the sheriff or prince on their presence. You're just standing off to the side of it.
Yeah.
You're still on the platform, so it's like seneschal to ruler kind of thing.
Right. So she's going to take a breath and just quickly make eye contact with everyone just to make sure everyone is like focused and not like looking out into the hall of where the commotion was, and seeing that they are. She's very nervous.
The irony is you're looking at a primogen of clan leaders who are all experienced enough with violence that the sheriff's going to make a ruling. Michael Arden is nervous, but he's not going to break any more rules of decorum. Madre has accepted the ruling as it has been given. You have their full attention.
Okay. You all know who I am. I'm not going to waste your time. We all know that things in New Haven have been, at the best, unstable for the last 10 months, 11 months now. And I've had discussions with each of you individually. And each one of you has agreed that there is a threat. I mean, there's been more than one threat, but for a long time, there's been one threat that's been, let's say, harder to come up with a plan to tackle directly. Not too long ago, our prince, Tostarossa, forced the sheriff to make a decision to kill one of our own, Fabien Lacroix. And that order was for optics. The prince wanted to show that the sheriff was making headway on finding the right hand, knowing full well that Fabien was not involved. The prince was invested in the pyramid strongly. And he's shown that his investments are more important than the people of this town. In fact, the only person that he trusted and any of his investment in was Dylan Zane, a person who was planning to murder him. So I think it's fair enough to say that his judgment can no longer be trusted. And his actions have proven that he's unstable and a threat to all of us. But the sheriff has a plan to protect us all and to give each of you your rightful say in our future. Under Cleopatra, the clans had a say. Under the prince, now, anyone's say could be nullified at any moment. But the sheriff has a plan. Sheriff?
Okay, before we move forwards, there are a couple of rules I want to do to see how the room is impacted by the speech, because it's important to know you've got some people who are really on side, and you got some people who are medium on side, you have some people who aren't as on side, and you had one person who was really on side, but then someone exploded. So I need you to do me, I think, 3 rolls.
Okay.
If you can roll me for about Fabienne's execution, can you roll me charisma and persuasion? Because that one doesn't strike me as much of a lie. It was like somebody died for optics.
That was the entire truth.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You get to roll the true stats for this one.
Okay. 5 successes, messy successy.
Whew.
Nice.
Can you roll the same again for the Pyramid 2.0? You'll be at a -1 die penalty because they don't have the proof the prince has that the Pyramid 2.0 was planning to kill the prince.
That's fair.
So they have to take your word on that one, but still a strong argument, and you're not lying.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's a wash.
Oh.
Okay. And then can you give me a roll for the prince being unstable / Everett having a plan?
Same.
I think those are true for you again.
They
so
are
I think you get to
true,
lean into the
yeah.
true statements. I'd roll the same again.
Oh, still -1 or no? No.
Because that they have demonstrable. The Everett having a plan is a question of your consistency with that, but they don't, I think, disbelieve that. And the prince being unstable, I don't think anyone would argue with if they've ever spoken with Toaster Roast.
Yeah. Not great rolls. 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay.
Man.
As this is handed over, you can see that the idea of Fabienne dying that pointlessly hit so hard for Vinland because it wasn't a piece of information that Everett shared. It wasn't a piece that Everett withheld. It's just a fact. And it rings ultra true for everybody who is a clan leader in this room because they were all chained up with equal odds. Mm-hmm. And there was no charges. It wasn't one clan leader was hauled out. It was like somebody went. And what I would say is this, with the level of response you're seeing, they've actually pictured the scenario exactly as it occurred instead of a spin version where they're not like, the prince ordered everybody to get brought in and then Fabienne to be executed. Instead, they're like, the prince forced the sheriff to do this to fuck with us as a massive power play, which is what actually happened. But it's Vinland's response. If you'd chosen somebody less honest, this panel would have suspected that that any expression of outrage or anger or anything is all politically motivated and a bit of a performance. But Vinland is known as a almost self-defeating straight shooter. So this council does not question that. The general resounding kind of like movements and loss of control reads that really, really cleanly. The Pyramid 2.0, you're not sure exactly where the response falls.
That's fair.
And the prince being unstable in Everett's plan, you're just not as clean on where that falls. But the Fabienne, that's a big old crime, especially for clan leaders from a prince, because it's what they are afraid of. I will also make a note, the room has had the door closed for this long, and this is the point, Val, where you're standing, having re-picked up the box of cell phones, and one of the Toreador bodyguards approaches you and says, "It's ringing." Shows you the phone. It says, "Big Toasty."
Yep. Val will be standing there holding the box, and I think Val was having more feelings about this too, because like in the moment before he walks up.
What's been going on since the moment you closed the door to here? I'm very happy. Let's walk through it.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just like Val is shaken by that, realizes like she's going to owe Michael Arden one for starters, between all of the political fallout of that. But I think the thing that really gets her is that Brian Tombstone was the only one who was like, we got to make sure Val is more loyal to the clan and like kill Will. And he was completely right. Like she would burn down all of those Brujah for him, and even bad mouthing Will in front of her. She could not stop herself from retaliation. So I think it makes her feel even more bitter about it because it's completely true on top of it.
So you're in full self-loathing, I would imagine, based on what you're describing? Or what is that emotionally, like how does that land for her in regards to her emotions? Obviously it's turbulent,
yes.
But what are the feelings that it draws out?
I think that's the problem with Val right now, is between the Marjorie stuff and this feeling, she doesn't have the words for these types of feeling. She just feels off and strange, but she doesn't have the emotional center or even the words to try and figure out what she's feeling. And usually that turns right into mad. And she did mad and she killed him, and now she's still feeling off. And it's like, I don't know what I am feeling. It's just weird.
Does Del know or no?
That's a good question.
To be clear, there's no criticism inherent in this. I'm very happy for you to not know either. But I'm like, I'm always interested where I'm like, does the player know from the outside to be able to describe it? Because I think Val has such a challenge with emotion in general. It's, she doesn't have the language for it, but I'm like, ooh, I want to know. I want to know as not being Val.
Yeah. I think it is kind of a weird frustration and paired with guilt, because it is like, she is bros with all the Brujah, and those relationships are meaningful to her on some level. But it's like she keeps everyone at such a distance that even though she has this like respectful friendship, I would say, with them, it's like nothing ever hits as deep as Will hit her. So even people not understanding that how much she cares for Will or not getting it, that also frustrates her. But it's like she has no words to explain the level of depth of difference of that level of care is inside of her.
Yeah. Well, I imagine there's also got to be another layer on that of her knowing that depth of difference and not telling them.
Yeah.
Because Val is then making assets of the people that are closest to her, where they would go to bat for her and she would go to bat for them.
Yeah.
Which is really
and I think
fascinating. Not that she's aware of that. We're talking outside of character.
Yeah, but it's also that it's very push comes, like it reminds her of the conversation she had with Barty that was like, what would make you feel safe trusting Will with someone? And it's like nothing, because Val is happy to help people for money or for gain or even favors and politics, and she is friendly with people, but it's like push comes to shove, she will burn everything down for this boy. Yeah.
This 26-year-old boy.
This 26-year-old boy. That's true. So then it's like the toreador with the cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the hand shifts into her vision, and then she's finally hearing again and seeing what's going on. So she will hold the box with one hand and she will open up the radio.
Everett, this is just as it's being handed off to you, where it's like, Sheriff, your radio squawks.
Sheriff Viron Ferron has a call from Tostarosa currently.
Fry will look at Viren Ferron and say, you're going to want to hear what I have to say, I think, given this lead up.
I am uncomfortable leaving the prince on voicemail.
I understand.
Is there anything you want to say? Because he's standing up and starting to head towards the door at a jog.
Mr. Farron, your fear of the prince may be unwarranted very soon.
He's going to pause for a moment and say, that's very interesting. Buy me 90 seconds. And he's going to step through the door and pick up the phone call. Door closes behind him, so you don't hear him on the call. Val, you do hear him on the call. He steps away, so you can't hear the prince's side of things. But it's clearly an interior design call that he's fielding. Just like, yes, absolutely. I think, listen, a lot of people are going gold. A lot of people are going fancy gold. And that is just so out right now. That's not what you want to do. You want to give people something different. I'd say marble, but the Pyramid 2.0 just really just buried that. I think if we look at going, hear me out. Black lace. I think we could do some great work with velvet and lace. If we play purple, so we get something old and royal, and then we lean into something dark and elegant, kind of a little bit gothic, a little bit modern, a little bit of a sexy flair for it. I really think this could show things off. Goes on for about another 60 seconds of pitching this, and then says, yes. I will get sketches put together. I have some excellent artists among my friends. And then we'll get those sent to you. Does email work? Do you prefer I could text you at this number if this isn't a landline? Wonderful. I'll get that for you. Give me, the muse says, 4 hours. 4 hours and it'll be perfect. Wonderful. Thank you. Goodbye. And he hangs up and turns back in. The call takes about 2.5 minutes. Do you guys just sit in silence for 2.5 minutes inside the gym, or what do you do in there?
God, I feel like sitting in silence is the wrong look, but at the same time, everyone needs to be present for this.
You look at the group.
Yeah.
Madre is staring absolute daggers at Michael Arden. Eric is doing the same. Kevin, the last thing that was said, but the unwarranted fear of the prince.
Yeah.
That's an interesting bombshell
for
the leaders in this room, which is why they aren't talking.
Yeah.
They've heard enough to be like, oh, fuck, someone's dropping a nuke in here.
Yeah, I think Everett will try to look like he's in control of the silence. If somebody else starts to talk, he will then try to take the reins of the meeting again, but he will try to appear comfortable in this silence. And when I say appear comfortable in this silence, I feel like Everett just looks generally uncomfortable. Right? Like he's not like a smooth, cool guy. So he is just trying to look like this silence doesn't bother him. And in a way it doesn't, because he needs Veer and Farron to be here. So if we wait in silence, then we wait in silence. That's, I think, what he's trying to exude here.
Yeah. Can you roll me a composure or resolve and politics? Add the voice of New Haven for this one.
Politics we know is empty. Voice of New Haven is 1. I've been rousing a lot this evening. Let's go again.
I love it.
Still no hungies.
Oh,
Nice.
man, you're doing it.
Smooth.
Yeah. I should be rolling all these die pools one at a time, apparently. 110, and that's it.
110, and
success.
that's it.
Bummer.
Evangeline, can you give me the same roll?
Yeah, what is it?
It is composure or resolve and politics.
Composure. Composure it is. 1 success.
I will add those together for 2 successes.
A unified front.
Yes, you do manage to silence the attempted distracting conversations. There's a moment of, Madre's leaning forwards about to say something, and you just tap the arm of the chair, and the room goes silent again. You have those brief moments. You are realizing as these players around this table begin to look at each other, they are experienced enough that looking around the table, who they look at and when, is a form of political communication
really
in a
cool.
meeting where you are not allowed to talk. The challenge for both of you is it's not a language you speak.
No, it is not.
They have been playing this game at the court in Calgary for a very long time, so they have the ability to have these kind of silent conversations. Not to the same depth, they're not like signing, but there are certain checks and balances one learns to make when...
But you're telling us that because that is something that we learn.
You can see that
watching them do
you're
this.
watching something's happening between these looks and glances,
Then
but you don't know what or how much, or it could be gym taking. It's not equivalent in office terms, to be clear.
It still feels like enough of the control in silence is slipping away that Everett will then start to just start listing names.
Great.
He'll just say Horatio Sundrop, Fabien Lacroix, Sam Buttwise, Lucius Balefire, Dylan Zane, Horatio Sundrop, Fabien Lacroix, Sam Buttwise, Lucius Balefire, and just again and again and again.
Viron Farron finishes his call, comes back to you, puts the phone in the box. Is there anything you would say to him as he passes by?
I'll just give this a nod. Not mean, just okay. Like I told you I'd call you with your
Fabulous.
stupid phone.
And he turns and goes back into the meeting. He enters after you've gotten through that list of names about 5 times.
Right.
Returns to his seat.
Okay. Who do we think is next? Who among you could be next? For seemingly no reason. It has to stop. Prince Tostarosa has to die tomorrow. And we're going to kill him. And after that, New Haven will free itself from his tyranny and come together as a new political entity. A town senate represented equally by all clan leaders, Kaitif and humans included.
Almost everyone starts to talk almost at once. Do you want to stop them? Do you want to let this play out?
I want to get a sense of where everyone's at, so I'll let a little bit of talk start.
Roll me a roll me a wits and awareness, because everyone's talking. Some of them are arguing with each other. It'll be easier to get a feel for where everyone's standing if you can get through the furor of the room.
Another success, thank God.
Add 2 more dice for Evangeline, who's over your shoulder, able to kind of whisper things in your ear / be a second pair of eyes and ears on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's it. With an awareness plus Evangeline.
Yeah, and I roused.
Great.
I actually think I gave myself 1 too many. Roused, Evangeline, 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't.
Give yourself an extra die for the fact that you have celerity active from having bought yourself additional time on the phone. So I think you can almost slow time a little bit to catch conversations more than you could in real time.
That's cool. Can I borrow a D10? A non-red one, please?
Have at it.
Thank you. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. Thanks, Laura.
There are currently 8 clan leaders in this room. I will say you can get a feeling for where each of them is at for a success. So who are the 2 clan leaders you don't get as you try to track through the room? Who are the 2 that are missing?
I think it'll have to be Madre and
Eric Francis, the Kaitif? Or are you thinking of... If you tell me the clan, I can tell you the leader.
Like
Ventru.
Tenten. Oh.
Oh, Vinland.
Vinland, yeah.
Yeah, because you know you've got their votes. That's a very reasonable thing.
Yeah.
This explosion as it comes around the room, Kevin LaFleur seems to be shocked at the idea of regicide in general. Like he's there. He agrees the prince is a problem. This idea is very big. I will say for the success, you also get a feeling that he's looking for an excuse to leave the room. Like he keeps trying to yell things that will justify him storming outside. And you quickly realize he needs to talk to Rowan McGee because this is too crooked for him and he doesn't make morally compromising decisions.
How do I let him leave a clandestine meeting? Is this an open secret? I feel like I knew Rowan ran things before I even had the dossier.
You know Rowan, so your guess as a vampire would be that anyone who's had to deal with the undersided parts or the underhanded parts of Gangrel politics is aware of Rowan. But if they don't deal with the Gangrel, they have no idea because you didn't know until you showed up being like, hey, I want to do a shady thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you were trusted.
Okay.
So that's an interesting question mark for you. Votitia is deeply concerned about losing power. You're realizing there is a power dynamic among these clans, which are the 4 original clans who have the most vampires, right now have more instinctive sway with the prince. The idea that, Viron, Farron, and the Toreador who have small numbers, the Ventru who have small numbers, these other clans that are seen as kind of intruding upon the original space were innately lesser, and this will be equalizing them. So there is some outrage from some, especially like 1010 and Votitia are both very concerned about their own power base functionally weakening. They like a rep by pop because they have the biggest pop in terms of this general voting structure. Viron Farron, this is a win. Viron Farron's fine. This prince seems like a psycho. The Toreador, your guess would be if people are generally swayed towards it. You've seen Viron Farron as a knife fighter. There's stuff that's outside of the traditional Toreador means with Viron Farron. So it seems like Viron, if the wind blows the right way, Viron will be on board and probably be a pretty vociferous ally because there's a ton to gain.
Sure.
Vinland seems deeply shocked still by the Fabienne reveal.
I don't want you to necessarily play too much. I asked not to track
not Vinland.
Vinland,
Sorry,
you
not
don't have
Vinland. No,
to
that's
give me
great.
that if you don't
That's
want to.
That's great. Technically, Michael Arden made the list.
He did.
Michael Arden is trying to toe the line. You're realizing he's not the best political operator, but he's kind of standing up and shouting for people that it needs to be a united vote, that like we need to unite. Everyone might need to give things up, but it's the only way for their clans to move forwards. And you're realizing his deep-seated love of clan is showing up in this, where it's like, this is the best way to protect all of our clans and to look after all of our people. So he has this weird, very JFK yelled, we have to do this together, stand together or fall apart. He's pointing to like, stand together or dead apart is like the slogan of the town over the gym and all this kind of stuff, trying to do
Jesus,
his big
a
political
children's
speech.
gymnasium?
That's the town slogan. It's written in Latin. I don't know what it means. I think that's everybody.
Of the 8, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6th would be the Kaitif, maybe?
Oh, Eric.
Yeah.
Eric is politely supporting Madre and Madre's opinions.
Okay. And I'm not
he's not really
Madre,
he's not really talking too much. Madre, like the idea of this being democratic appeals to Madre, but Madre is also angry enough that Madre is just yelling at people who are worried about their own power. Madre weirdly is hostile to Votitia 1010 as opposed to the smaller clans. Madre is fine with that. I would say you get that for Eric because Eric is just over the shoulder being like, yeah. But that is where the room kind of is exploding. Arguments are devolving between that. I don't need to play 8 people yelling at each other, but that's the general
needs to pull
tone.
focus then back and get everyone to kind of quiet down so that, as Arden says, like we need to be united on this because I can't remember if I said it on air or not, but like we're not leaving with like a majority vote on this. It needs to be like jury style unanimous because we're talking about treason. So if anyone who's not on board decides to leave, that's a huge breach for us. So Everett will raise his hands, try to be conscious that he needs to stay seated because he's just trying to like keep all the notes that he got for like how to be a person, like a leader from Evangeline, and just hands up and then bringing them down and yelling like, everyone, Please. Do I have their attention or have
Yes,
I
you would
lost
get their
them?
attention. They would give it to
Okay.
you for free. They're not competing for that. The idea was so shocking, even this circumspect a council couldn't not immediately have an opinion, but they want to hear the rest of the pitch.
Yeah.
That's the plan is, oh, there's this?
Yeah. I understand some of you are concerned. I understand some of you think this is perhaps long overdue. I want to address some of those people now. Botisha, 1010, I understand there you have a fear of losing here, but I feel your scope is too small. What if you had a share in all of New Haven, not just your territories? And specifically you, Botisha, you ought to know more than anyone else here that population, power, doesn't buy you protection. Not from the prince, not from this prince. He couldn't protect Horatio Sundrop. And he got Sam Buttwise killed.
Can you roll me a wits and persuasion?
I think persuasion is empty. Oh, it's one.
Votitia is an interesting person for, and I would take Voice of New Haven on this one. Votitia is an interesting person for you to make this appeal to because if Votitia has these problems, but Votitia also has a complicated relationship with the department, which could work in your favor or against it, which is why this die roll becomes important.
I'm going to rouse again.
Great.
Oh, let it ride. And here we go. That is, a bestial failure. We've got some successes in here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. -2 for 2 successes and a bestial failure, as I understand it.
Yes. So the final total is how many successes?
2.
2.
I'm trying to help you out with a pitch here, but I'm honestly at a loss.
I got an idea because this is also just a question of like how much convincing, how much is there, how much complicates the scenes for all of you. These are the big things. So you make this pitch and you watch Votitia stand to respond. You're realizing there's some level of formality still among the council. And she says, I understand that, yes, I have come to power by unlikely means. I wish to remain safe. And I think the questions that the rest of you must be wondering, did the prince kill Horatio Sundrop and replace him? I do not believe there is any evidence to match that, is there, Sheriff? He did not protect him, but he did not execute him.
He hosted his doppelganger, the right hand of Lilith, at Torpor Springs.
So you believe the children of Lilith are linked with the prince?
I believe his ineptitude led to the right hand assuming the role of Horatio Sundrop.
That I do believe as well. Then there is the question of Sam Buttwise. The question undoubtedly everyone around this table is thinking, even though I am charming you all with my incredible charisma. Sam Buttwise had been clan leader for less than 15 minutes at the time of his death. How did the prince put that in place when you were the one to deliver the death blow?
That's true. I was the one who killed Sam Buttwise. But remember, it was the prince who broadcast that security footage from your lobby, told me how funny he thought it was, and sanctioned that murder.
Yes, so the order was given retroactively?
It was.
Forced to please the puppet master you were, as we all have been. Just killing at will, at a change. It sounds very Sabbat for us to be doing these bloodthirsty things against each other with no consequence. No consequence that can be trusted, no justice that can be trusted. Sheriff, do you believe this solution will be just?
The solution, if I understand you correctly, the solution I am proposing to assassinate the prince.
Ooh. To say such things aloud, it really does rock me to my core. I am unsettled.
In answer of your question, I do believe that is just.
Well, here's what I think, says Madre, standing up. If that's true, then we're going to get justice, and it's all going to be democratic, and I like all that. But here's the deal. We can't have one fucking murderer. She points right at Michael Arden. We can't have somebody who gets to be on the judge and jury team who's a fucking murderer. So I'm going to say, dead. Kill that one. I'll fucking back you. That one goes. Michael Arden, dead. Tonight. No fucking around. Dead. That's the fucking deal. All this makes fucking sense. Everybody in this room knows it makes fucking sense. They can all pretend Camarilla, bullshit. Here's the deal. Small clans get a vote. They always should have got a vote. It doesn't matter if you got more vampires unless you're going to use them as fucking muscle. You're not. Nosferatu love to party. Fucking Gangrel's like 15 of you can fight anyways, and you never really want to do it together. Michael Arden's got to fucking go. Corpse. We got rid of all of the other fucking magicians. Fuck them.
Madre.
Yeah?
You and I are going to discuss a solution after this.
I think I'm going to discuss the solution right now. Fuck him. He goes, and you got, I would love to say, 40 Brujah, but Cain Razio was eaten by the department. And I would love to say 39 Brujah, but Michael Arden blew one up in the fucking lobby. Do you want 38 Brujah, or do you want that guy and 10 dipshits?
Well, here's the thing. This vote has to be unanimous for everyone present. All 8 clan leaders, not the 7 surviving clan leaders.
I don't know. I feel like we could put down 10 fucking losers and this guy right now, and then you only need 7 votes. Stinkums thinks it's reasonable. What's your vote, Stinkums? Raises a little hand. Yeah, Stinkums says, fuck it. You want to win, or do you want to win with that guy and then lose?
I'm not negotiating this, Madre.
Oh, no. See, because here's the thing that I know. Then you realize as the rest of the clan begins to steal themselves around the table, you're coming in here and you're trying to say that you need a unanimous vote. You called a council meeting, and then you made a pitch. And you took everybody's cell phones, which means you don't really have the level of control that you're fucking pretending you have. And I fucking hate people telling me that it's going to be their rules. Because we're talking about an overthrow. We're talking about a fucking mutiny. It's a fucking regicide. So, it could be whatever the fuck we want it to be. I want it to be a negotiation.
That's too bad. It's not.
This episode of Canada by Night features the voices of Tyler Hewitt, Del Borovic, and Laura Hamstra, alongside storyteller Ryan LaPlante. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Canada by Night's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. Our theme songs are What's Really Going On Right Now by Chase Allen Villas and Traffic by Kai Engel, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Cheeks by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. Canada by Night is a spin-off of the Dum Dums and Dice series Blood and Syrup. If you want to hear about what happened to Everett before he came to New Haven, look for Blood and Syrup anywhere podcasts can be found. For all things Dum Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Sleep well, my kindred. Sleep well in this world of darkness.
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christopher Little, George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald. Logan, fire unfriendly. Grandma likes D&D. Alan, stabby stranger. Glitch Trick, Flynn 1138. Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper. Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Mithrian, Garbo Ape. Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine. Dagger Rain. Rob L., Dia de los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy, Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Alex Parr, Dragonfly, The Body Barrelers, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, The Gator Family, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Beef Not Cheese, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Adam, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.